What is up, you guys? Michael Myers here, back again with another video. Today, I'm going to be doing my final movie review of the October season, and I wanted to focus on a movie that I consider a real, true horror movie, and that is Stephen King's Pet Sematary, the original 1989 classic. Yeah, guys, obviously, I will be continuing doing more movie reviews after the month. I've been doing that for quite some time now, and I quite enjoy it. So I will be taking a look at different kinds of movies, good or bad. And as always, if you guys have any recommendations, any movies, series you guys would like for me to, take a look at, make sure you guys comment down below. Yeah, and also before we get into this review, I will also like to say that I will be doing a remake review on the remake. Yeah, I just feel that a lot of people overhyped this movie, especially when it came out, and I just don't think it's as good as people say. And there's actually some people out there that consider this remake better than the original film, and I just disagree, man, because I just thought this movie was off to me, and you guys will know what I mean when I review this. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna be going over this film, more into detail and more deeper. So just to get that out of the way. All right, so the original adaptation of Pet Sematary, 1989. Of course, this is based off the terrifying novel by Stephen King, and this is probably one of my favorite stories by Stephen King. And this is considered one of his more disturbing and darker stories. And of course, like every other classic horror novel, the novel of course is more darker and goes more deeper than the film adaptation. And it took Stephen King some time to really be serious about a film adaptation of Pet Sematary. I know he declined a lot of offers to really bring his best-selling novel into a film. And he finally did it, came across the right people, and really, in my opinion, brought it to life the right way. I just think this is a classic movie. And there is a lot of people who grew up being terrified of this movie, as a kid. And I saw this for the first time when I was a little older, so it didn't really scare me. But I feel if I saw this when I was a kid, it definitely would have terrified the shit out of me, because there is some creepy points in this movie that really are not like forgettable. And yeah, man, I just think the whole story, the whole concept is in this movie is great. You know, um, this family moves into the new area. The father of the family, Lewis, who is a doctor, you know, he becomes friends with the neighbor Judd, and they discover, Judd tells them about the whole pet cemetery, in the forest by their home. And basically people bury their pets there throughout the years, whatever, getting hit in the road by the trucks. And of course, later on in the film, they discover another type of graveyard more further. And it's some type of graveyard where you bury, people been burying their pets, and people are also buried there, and they come back to life, but evil. And of course, like the most famous iconic line in this movie, sometimes dead is better, because you don't want to bring your loved ones back to life into a whole different abomination. So I just think they did a great job capturing that, and I really like the characters in this movie. I definitely like them more than in the remake. And I know they're the same characters, it's basically the same thing, except in the remake there was a few different there was some differences, but I didn't really care for the characters in the remake. I think the actors in the original, I just think you felt for them. The story kind of hits home in some type of way, because you feel for the family. Stuff starts going tragic. The young daughter's cat, Church, unfortunately gets hit in the road. And Lewis doesn't really want her to be disappointed, want her to be sad because of this tragic event. So they bury the cat, and he comes back, more evil, more violent, you could say. And yeah, and I just think this movie really does take a dark turn, especially when Gage, the young boy, passes away, which I thought is a pretty heartbreaking. A lot of people do consider this a heartbreaking story, and I definitely agree, man, because that's pretty horrible. And as someone who I know, I've seen a lot of reviews and a lot of people talk about this movie, how it's definitely hard for some people to go through this movie, who have kids, because it is that dark of a movie. And I just think, as I said, this movie brought it to life, and it kind of made you feel, it makes it feel more of like something that could actually happen, and yeah, man, I just like the story, and I said the characters did a great job. I think the dude who played Judd, I just think he did an incredible job. Also, Lewis, like, you feel for them. It has more of like an emotion feel for the characters, and of course, the mother, who is having these memories, these flashbacks of, it's kind of hard for her to deal with death because of her sister Zelda, which is probably the creepiest thing in the movie. And I know a lot of people always mention this, that was probably their worst nightmare of this movie, was that Zelda character. And I definitely agree, man, because that was a pretty dark, disturbing character. And I can just imagine, being a kid watching this movie. So yeah, I'm glad I watched this as I got older. But yeah, guys, as I said, I think the story's great. The whole beginning scene, when they're showing the pet cemetery, the whole cinematography, the music, I just think it's really creepy, and it really gives it that eerie, feel to, the setting, the film, the plot, and everything. And I just think it's a great, well-made movie. And and also I will say the most memorable thing for me about this movie, every time I think about Pet Cemetery, I always think about, the creepy kid, Gage, who unfortunately, as I said, passes away. And, Lewis can't really take it. He really wants to bring his son back. And I just think how he comes back evil, man. It is just really creepy. And, and I think, I'm not sure how old the actor was, but I'm pretty sure in the movie he was supposed to be 2 years old. And I think for a 2-year-old kid, amazing job, guys. I just think he was a really creepy part of the movie, and I know that happens later on into the movie. And I would say like about third act. And I just thought that he really like made it believable. I feel like not just him, all the actors, all the characters really made the movie more believable, and I was more into it, rather than the remake, honestly. And I know I'm comparing the remake, but I shouldn't. But yeah, guys, as I said, I thought the creepy kid did a great job. And of course you can't forget, the laughs, the talks, he's having with Lewis when he's resurrected or whatever. Really creepy, really creepy. And yeah, guys, I just think this is definitely a movie that should definitely be watched during this time of the year, because it is that much of a horror movie. And of course the way it ends, I thought it was pretty great. Unfortunately the mother passes away. I believe it was Gage who killed the mother. And she does get buried in the pet cemetery or whatever, and she comes to life and ends up killing Lewis at the end of the film. And I just thought that was a great ending, because it really shows that no matter what, no matter your loved one, it could still come after you. And this movie, I feel, is a big part of like your imagination, because the daughter in the movie, she was having dreams, and picturing a lot of shit that ended up becoming true. For example, her cat Church dying. She also had a dream about basically predicting what was gonna happen. And yeah, man, I just think it does have that really dark, creepy feel to it, that I just think it made it more enjoyable for me. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's pretty much it. That was my review on the original movie, Pet Cemetery. Like I said, this is a classic movie. I'm actually might rewatch it, guys, because I just think this is an amazing movie. And there is some issues with it. For example, I'm gonna just give you one. I wasn't a huge fan of the daughter. I did like her a little bit more on the remake, but I will talk a little bit more about that in the remake review. But yeah, I just feel the daughter was off in this one. I know she was the one that really predicted many of the things and saw many of the things ahead. And I just thought her character was off. It was just too, I don't know. I think the word is annoying, but other than that, guys, I just think it's a great movie. Like I said, the dark cinematography, the dark tone to this movie really gives it more of that creepy, eerie movie that it is. So yeah, guys, make sure you guys tell me what you guys think about the original Pet Cemetery. Make sure you guys comment down below your review, your little mini review, what you think about it. And yeah, guys, this is definitely one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's definitely up there because, as I said, I consider this like a real horror movie, like a real, true Halloween movie. And yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the remake review of Pet Cemetery. Like I said, I don't think it's as good as the original, but I will be also going over this. And I know they also have a Pet Cemetery 2, which in my opinion, I thought it was a decent film. I know a lot of people shit on it. A lot of people say it's a horrible sequel, but I know it doesn't really continue after this one. But I think as its own thing, I thought it was a decent movie. Of course, it wasn't as good as this, but for a watch, I mean, I definitely recommend it, at least for a watch. The second film, but yeah, and I also wanted to mention that I'm glad that this movie did not come out to be a full-on franchise, because I could just imagine how cheesy and corny how it would end up, how it end up becoming. So and I just think the first movie worked really well. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Halloween's almost here. It's Michael Myers signing out.